Hello, I'm Eddie Obeng, and this is How. Daily, I bring you a different tool, a tip, a method, a people engagement tool, a pet, I call them, to help you actually manage and navigate your life better. The one I'm sharing with you today is going to be fun because I think it's very powerful, but it might just trigger some of you because the example I tend to use. It's about trying to get people to line up behind you in complicated and challenging situations. So let's jump on Cube and take a look. So here we are on Cube, where the sun is always shining, as you can see out the window, the sunshine everywhere. This is the cubicle I used when we were setting up to promote the All Change, my latest book. The book is in several parts. There's a novel, a story part. And you can see here, I use the tools which I'm teaching you. So for example, here we have an example of strawberry fish. When we were trying to work out what we should do to differentiate the book from all the other books on the market, you'll see that there's a bubble diagram up here. We've tried to look at comparisons of other books. And this is a bubble diagram of the whole book. So I literally do exactly what I'm teaching you. So if it works for me, it might work for you, okay? So let's have a look at this whole area of extreme matching. So the story I want to tell is a very weird one, which you'll recognize. So this is the famous American wall. I'm gonna build a wall, okay? When I was in my MBA, I came across this book, which was recommended to us, which we had to learn, which was about trying to influence and persuade people to do stuff in business, especially if we needed them to do complicated stuff. And in this book were a lot of tricks about how you set up to do deals. Okay, you got the clue. It was The Art of the Deal by President Donald Trump. And we had to study this. So when he became president, I was quite intrigued listening to everybody who thought he was talking about logic when he was basically using persuasion techniques. And the wall is an example. I would never have imagined the wall he was going to build. He's going to build the biggest, most beautiful, etc. wall. I would never expect it to just be bits of metal, okay? Basically, the persuasion trick was to describe something so amazing. This wall is going to be big and beautiful. And in your head, you imagined it. And whether you liked it or not, it persuaded you something might happen. So I'll tell you a story from my own world, which is I was teaching on a Saturday morning. I had a gig, which I used to do as a gratis gig for a conglomeration of young people from across Africa. And I used to do a dawn slot. It was like an hour's drive, and I'd go and I work with them all day Saturday. And I had to be absolutely excellent because they really just wanted to go out and enjoy themselves. But the schedule said they had to work on a Saturday. So I did the best, and they learned, and we had a good time. And I've been doing this for about 10, 15 years. And then the organization began to change. It became more modern, became more woke. They changed the leader. And I turned up one morning, and as I turned up, everyone was muttering. And I went, okay, I don't know. And they go, because apparently the new director told them off for something or other. Anyway, I started my session, busy going. I'm just coming up to the point where we're about to sort of kick into the whole session. And the director comes in and says, Eddie, can I have a few words with these guys? And he comes in and he just basically tells them all off in the middle of my session. At which point one of the chaps leaps up and walks out the room in disgust, okay? So he leaves, and when he leaves, everyone's there seething. And I go, oh my goodness, I've got all day with these people. It's mid-morning, they're in a bad mood. What can I do? And I remembered one of the tools which I had learned, which is this trick of matching people in order to lead them. So this is a different approach. This is the extreme matching. So normally if somebody says something like, I don't know, I think managers should take full responsibility. No, the normal response is, that's very true, we should do so, say so. An extreme match would be to say, I think any manager who seems to be failing must actually be matched on the, extreme matching is, I agree with you, but I agree with you so much, you are actually less extreme than I am. So if you follow me, you'll get what you want. So I said to everyone, okay, let's come into the middle of the room. So they all came to the middle of the room. I said, look, we need a break. They said, yes. So we went out, and outside there was a little sort of a courtyard. So we stood in the courtyard. And again, I got them in a circle. Why a circle? Because in a circle, it looks like we're all in this together, as opposed to I'm going to do something. And then I said to them, let's go and get the guy who's walked away. So they went and fetched him from his room, and he came. So we're all standing in the circle. And then I broke the silence. I said, you're fed up. You're here on a Saturday. You're fed up because the directors come and harassed you, okay? You think you're fed up. You don't know anything. You just woke up at 8 and had breakfast. I was up at 5 o'clock coming here to spend the whole day with you, not being paid. And now I've got to deal with all this nonsense. Do you think you're annoyed? I'm more annoyed than you are. I'm really annoyed. I don't know what we should do. Let's just have some coffee and then we'll talk. We'll be friends and we'll figure out how to get rid of this nonsense which they fixed in our day. And I stomped off and everyone followed me and we had coffee and then we chatted, then we laughed, then we went back to the session. That's extreme matching. I showed I was in a much worse position than they were. And that's a tool which you might need to use. I know you might not like the source of the inspiration, but he's a genius when it comes to persuasion. He's been president twice. However stupid you think he is, I can't do that. So go away and extreme match when it's crucial. It's the best way of trying to make sure that people will follow you. Don't use it for evil. Always use it for honesty and guiding people to make their lives better. I've been Eddie Obeng. There is a quick guide, and always subscribe to the newsletter and tell your friends, because then they get the whole lot of all the different tools. Thank you.